all the information to do the perfect transition is written on these tracks. Why should we use Rekordbox as a tribe DJ? Well, first off, I think it makes it way easier to go from tribe into real life. Like if I'm playing with tribe and I want to buy a controller, I already have everything set up in Rekordbox to start playing with this controller. Another thing, if you have a mobile phone with your laptop or desktop or PC, you can also install Rekordbox for free on your mobile phone and then do all the stuff that you do in Rekordbox on your mobile phone. Another thing, you can make a backup of a backup. So what I have here in Tribe, I already have that as a backup because it's also on my computer, but I could also zip it into a backup file that I, can throw on a hard drive or something like that. So it's super safe. And comparing this with just only using Tribe, let's say I don't use Rekordbox. I set a lot of hotkeys. I set my grid on every song, perfect. And then I have to reinstall, I have to factory reset my Quest for whatever reason. I will lose all of my data of Tribe. Everything will be removed, except from the MP3s, but I have to do everything again. With Rekordbox, I'm totally safe. I can use the same data on any Quest, or also share it with other users so they can use my Rekordbox collection as well, which is awesome. So what can you do with Rekordbox? Well, you can do a lot with Rekordbox, but Tribe only picks up these things of Rekordbox. So what it does is, a backup, because the data is also stored elsewhere. I can set 8 memory queues. I can set a max. I can set 8 hot queue and hot loops. I can color these hot queues, which makes it easy. If I say like I want the blue one to start the vocal, for instance, I can also do that in Rekordbox and Tribe will pick that up. And then one very important thing, I can make playlists. If you want to use Rekordbox and want to use all that information onto your Quest or standalone or PC VR, I recommend to go to trypixr.com. Scroll all the way down and you will find a support button there. If you click that, you will find Rekordbox, and then, all the information, depending on what system you're using, will be there to start using this stuff. Okay, so what I do in Rekordbox, I'm gonna show every step. So what I'm gonna show you now is I've collected one song, and I'm gonna show everybody what I will do with this song before it goes into Tribe. Let's jump right into this. So what I do on my PC, I make a new folder, and this folder is only for editing. So it's not my collection, it's just an editing folder. And this folder is called version 000. So what I have here is like the song that is in a collection, it's then in an album, and it's then right here. And for me, this doesn't make any sense to just move this into Tribe, because it will be a mess when having more songs. So what I do is I move this from the album into my edit folder. Right? Okay, so that's step 1. Next, I move this file from the edit folder into Rekordbox. And Rekordbox asks me to analyze it, and it asks me to set a BPM to analyze it. And I must think for myself, what kind of BPM would it be? Also, one notice, like over here, I made a new playlist that I called Check BPM. So this song doesn't go into the collection and I have to search for it. It's a new playlist, so I can easily analyze this track, right? So from the edit folder into my playlist, Check BPM. So now Rekordbox start analyzing this track, and it already shows the BPM. And the BPM, I checked grid. Of course, the grid is right over here. These lines must be on the beat. And I can also use the metronome right here to just check if this song is placed on grid, because this is the most important thing here in Tribe and also in real life DJing. Having your songs on grid makes it way more easier to mix and beat match and all that good stuff. So it's analyzed. But what I do with this information, I then move this BPM and I start renaming the file name. So I move that BPM in front of the file name. I listen to the first part and the last part of the song, and I notice that this song starts with a drum, ends with a drum. So I add D to the file name. And I also have a little piano next to me, and I start figuring out the root key. And I also put that into the file name. So this gives me way more information than only Rekordbox does. Because, what if I'm mixing on older gear that doesn't support Rekordbox or something like that? I still want to use this song. Now comes the weird thing, because, I've done all this. Now I'm gonna remove this song from that playlist. Just gonna remove it. I don't need it anymore because it's already renamed, so Rekordbox doesn't pick it up. I'm not gonna relocate the song because it doesn't have it doesn't have an album cover. It also has a lot of information in the ID. I don't want all that. I just wanted to know the BPM, if it starts with a drum, ends with a melody or a drum, and move the root key in. So I remove this from Rekordbox. I'm gonna search for the cover art on Google. And I must have the original cover art, of course, and it must be in square. So this one, I thought this is the one. I have to have this one. Next, I open up ID3 Tag. So that's this program in front of Rekordbox. So Rekordbox is beneath this program. And I've collected all these cover arts in one folder that is called cover art. And I just have to click on that song that I loaded into MP3 Tag, click on on this icon, and then search between my JPEGs and PNG files to move in that cover art. This is the original ID3 Tag. It has comments written in it. It has a year, the artist, and a very long title. So what I do next, you can guess. I remove everything. I only want the cover art, and I want my software, and I want Tribe to just pick up my file name. Nothing more. So what I'm gonna do next, I close down MP3 Tag, and then I move this file from the edit folder into my backbone, my folder, like my music collection. And this music collection is different than the playlists, of course. And also, when I started using Tribe, I started with BPMs because I thought if I have my BPMs correct, then I know a bit better what I can mix and what I can't mix on top of each other. So this is my backbone. So I move this from the edit into like the file structure that is also here on my Quest. This folder structure is on my PC. It's in Rekordbox, but it's also on my Quest. Next, I go into my playlist called Newly Edit. So here all my new songs will come in. And it makes it more fun when jumping into Tribe and then mixing with these new songs, because, well, otherwise I'm mixing with my old songs, and this shows like what is new. So I move it in here, and it's also been, it's also imported in the collection, of course. And within Newly Edit, I also dive into information, and I only set a genre in the ID3 tag of this song. So there's nothing in the ID3 tag, only the cover art. But now I add the genre in Rekordbox, which makes it super easy to filter or sort all your songs on genre. And it's also making it easy for me to decide this genre must go into house. So now I also know like all the tracks are new, and even if I forgot to move it into house, there will be a time that I just sort everything again and renew this playlist with all these genres. So I'm gonna show what I'm gonna do next with this song if I was in Rekordbox, but I can do the same thing here in Tribe. The only sad thing is if I reinstall my Quest, all that data will be lost. So I'm gonna move in this song, and as you can see, it's the right BPM, so this totally fits. So I even didn't do a good listen to this song, so I'm a bit curious what I brought into this workshop actually. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna listen to phrasing. This song will start with a drum, that's one thing I know. And I'm gonna listen where the next phrasing is, when the vocal starts or when a synth start playing or the bass kicks in. I must find the another phrase of the song. Oh, found it. Okay, so this song starts with the new phrase right over here. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna, well, I could set a memory cue or a hot cue here to just show to myself like, okay, this is the moment where if I was playing another song with a vocal, the other song must stop. I must do something to make sure that the two vocals don't land on top of each other. But in my system, I don't place a hot cue here or a memory cue. I place the marker to use it. Well, I'm just gonna show it. So I'm gonna beat jump 32 beats back, and that will bring me to the beginning of the track. Next, I want to set a 16 beat loop right here that I can use everywhere on top of another song, because there are only drums right here. So pressing double on 8 and setting a hot cue loop. So right now, if I press A, I just get a 16 beat loop, which sounds pretty fun actually. Okay, cool. Next, I'm gonna move the needle surge to the end of this track. And it's right over here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna beat jump back, and I'm gonna set a memory cue here. And this memory cue actually tells me to if I had this system on the other deck, I only have to press A and exit the loop when I'm on C, because that same amount will make sure that the vocals will start when this track ends. Does that make any sense? Okay, so this works. This always works. It's such an awesome system. But I could miss this C marker, and I have a loop, and I am already exiting this loop on this marker. So this loop doesn't make any sense at all for now. Like, I press that loop, but I have to exit it to make it work. So what I do next is I'm gonna beat jump back again. I'm gonna press Q, and I'm gonna click on memory. And now there will be a memory cue that tells me where to press the loop on the other deck. So that loop will be playing here, then playing on C, and on C I can exit the loop. So it all will land perfectly together right here. I'm gonna do this again just to make sure, I can even bring that loop in earlier. And well, aside from this, I also set a hot cue on the drop. And this drop would be here, and that will be H. So now all these markers are set. So this track is set up in Rekordbox. And you see a lot more hot cues, but it's the same system. Here's that C, and the memory cues are here, so I could bring in that other song when this memory cue comes by. Then later on we're going into the drop, and then next I have a point here to do the transition, and also a point here to do the transition. So all the information to do the perfect transition is written on these tracks. Wow, we must try this. Here we go. Gonna remove all the frequencies of the other track. And I'm gonna bring this hot cue loop in on top of the drop. 1, 2. There we go. So you don't hear it because all the frequencies are moved away. But for instance, I can already bring in the bass drop right here. And slowly bring in more high. It's hitting the second memory cue, so I don't have to exit the loop yet. Almost. Okay, hitting C, so exiting the loop right here. Here we go. Exiting the loop. So this song will start losing energy, and this song just let it play. So we're removing all frequencies. And this will be a new part, so I'm gonna move into the track right here. And we're in a new track. Here we go. Yes. So this way, it makes it way more easier for me to dive in and do, well, my mission is to do seamless mixes. And this system just helps with everything, doing it more seamless, because it's not a guess anymore. It's just written right here, when to bring in a loop, when to exit a loop, and it's up to me to decide what the audience is doing and if I want to move in the next track or not. Are there any questions?